The story starts with a man tied to a chair. A voice said, "All right then, shall we go back to square one?" The speaker was a jailer who tortured people and wore a mask that covered his face. After the gag was removed, the jailer said, "Your name is Kim Seojoon. You're from a country called South Korea on Earth. You like playing hyper FPS games and enjoy any matcha-flavored dessert, right?" Kim Seojoon hesitated to reply. That's when the jailer cut off his hand. The jailer leaned toward him and said, "I asked you a question. Are you deaf? Do you need help hearing?" Then he cut off Seojoon's ear. Seojoon screamed in pain. The jailer said, "Now I believe you can hear me much better. Let me ask you once again. Your answer must only be yes." The second Princess Netanya was killed by a warrior named Kim Seojoon, and that person is you, right? Seojoon thought, just when did everything go wrong on Earth? What happened to my normal daily life? A flashback began. Before he fell into this situation, he was inside his room playing a game. He was a freshman who had just entered college. Like every ordinary college student, he had an ordinary family and an ordinary lifestyle. No one expected what happened when he opened the door of his house to leave. The moment he stepped through the door, he entered another world. Standing in front of him was the second Princess Netanya along with her people. Seojoon looked around, but the doorway behind him had already closed and disappeared. Soon, 3 more people arrived from Earth. Seojoon and the other 3 were called warriors. Among them were an old man, a young girl, and a high school student. Seojoon was the college student. Seeing the unfamiliar surroundings, Seojoon stuttered. The high school student looked confused. Then Seojoon suddenly shouted, "Have I become the protagonist of this world? Now I can get the skill of a swordsman, a sage, or a necromancer for sure. I just have to go all out. Then I'll become the best in the world." He immediately shouted, "Status window." The other warriors looked at him in confusion. Seojoon was confused as well. That's when Princess Netanya spoke. "Unfortunately, there is no such thing as a status window here, though we do have skills. Hello, warriors. I am the second princess of this world. My name is Netanya. I am looking forward to working with all of you from now on." She approached Seojoon and said, "Let's check the skill you have. Please spread your arms a bit and stay still." After checking his skill, Netanya looked surprised. "Oh, you have a storage skill." At that moment, the man standing behind her was instantly killed. When Netanya turned around to look, she was also attacked by an intruder. The intruder pulled its hand out of her body after piercing through her from behind. Netanya looked at Seojoon and said, "Warrior." Before she could continue, the intruder fired a laser beam from its hand and killed her. Seojoon trembled in fear because the intruder was standing right in front of him. The intruder raised its hand toward Seojoon and began charging an attack. Then, Seojoon lost consciousness. When he finally woke up, among those who were still alive, including himself and the other 3 warriors, he was the only one covered in blood. Because of that, he was arrested and taken away in a flying ship. A bald man approached him and said, "Any magical power is sealed by that collar." Seojoon learned that the place he was being taken to was a public prison floating in the sky. Its name was Gehenna. The bald man said, "Kim Seojoon, that's your name, right? You really have bad luck. Going straight to the public prison built by the higher-ups of this world for your first offense. This prison is 7,000 meters high in the air." He laughed. Seojoon thought, "This isn't supposed to be this way. A normal college student like me should be living a cheat life in this world. Shouldn't this life be brighter and easier than this?" Inside the prison, he stood together with the other prisoners. He continued thinking, "What will my life be from now on? Will I really be imprisoned until the day I die?" That's when the warden walked up to them. "Good morning, scumbags. I am the warden of this prison. Seeing you guys really makes me want to vomit. It's amazing. I can't see even the slightest bit of remorse or regret for your sins on your faces. But that's what you are after all, the cancer cells of society." She continued, "I think it's better for you to open your eyes and face reality. Literally, no one has ever escaped from this prison." While saying that, the warden looked directly at Seojoon. Seojoon thought, "Why is she looking at me?" The warden approached him. "This mad warrior has piqued my interest." Seojoon wondered why she was interested in him. The warden then walked away and said, "Anyway, don't think about messing with me, or who knows, I might kill you." One of the prisoners made a face after hearing that. The warden immediately noticed. "Do you have something to say?" The prisoner shouted, "That's f***ing retarded." Before he could continue, the warden killed him with a single attack. Then she said, "I feel like I forgot to mention something. The reason I was chosen to become the warden is simple. I am the strongest. So if you quietly live inside this prison, it will be good for you guys. I don't think any of you would like to die like that, right?" The story then returns to the present. The jailer's voice echoed through the torture room. All right then, shall we go back to square one? Now that I believe you can hear me properly, let me ask you once again. Your answer must only be yes. The second Princess Natanya was killed by Kim Seojoon. That person is you, right? The warden entered the torture room. It seems he is unwilling to admit his fault. I'm pretty sure the hallucination skill is working perfectly. Is it because his mental strength is strong, or is it something else? Seojoon shouted, I am not guilty. Then he shouted again, I am not guilty. At that moment, his skill activated and shattered the illusion around him. Both the jailer and the warden were shocked. Seojoon looked at his body. His hand had grown back. His ear had also returned. The warden said, that was a hallucination skill. We were torturing you using illusions. But I can't believe you freed yourself. I don't think you have a normal skill. Isn't your skill supposed to be storage? The jailer replied, excuse me, warden, but don't you think it's because the hallucination skill became unstable? Seojoon looked at them in disbelief. Torture? A torture using hallucinations? You took me in and started torturing me from day one. Aren't you people crazy? Do human rights not exist in this world? The warden avoided his gaze. In the past, there was a race with two horns on their foreheads. They all lived in a small village. It was an ordinary village with around 300 people. It was peaceful. She paused before continuing. But one day, a person from Earth came. He was a warrior. A single warrior crossed into this world. Her expression darkened. That day, 257 people died. The warrior's skill was God mode. It allowed him to use game commands like cheat codes. She continued. Before I cut off all of that guy's limbs and left only his head, he said only one thing, force quit. The warden glared at Seojoon. You Earthlings tend to treat this world as a game or a comic book. Because of that, this world has become a mess. Killing people while calling it field training. Assaulting people while calling it getting close. Then she asked, didn't your heart break when you killed the second princess? Don't you feel any guilt, Warrior Kim? Seojoon immediately replied, I didn't kill her. That's a false accusation. What benefit would I gain from that? Why would I kill the second princess? The warden kicked him and grabbed him. I'm going to say something important, so listen carefully. The most important thing in prison is that the offender admits to their offense. Innocent or guilty, it's not our job to find the truth. Prison is simply a penal institution. Whether you're being framed or not is none of our business. Our job is only to correct and teach you. She raised her fist. Welcome to this world, Warrior Kim. After that, Seojoon was thrown into a prison cell. He thought, there is no such thing as an easy life, even in this world. This world is no different from Earth. The only difference is that I had people back on Earth. Here, I have no friends, no family, only loneliness, Seojoon cried. Then he suddenly saw Princess Natanya standing in front of him. He looked at her in shock. How? Natanya smiled and said, would you like me to free you from this place, dear warrior? Kim Seojoon thought, is what I'm seeing another illusion, but it feels too real to be fake. He grabbed Natanya's hand and stood up. Are you still alive, princess? I definitely saw you die right before my eyes that day. Actually, I'm curious about how you survived and how you're here. But more importantly, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're still alive and weren't murdered. Please get me out of here. Hearing that, Princess Natanya shook her head. Warrior, unfortunately, there is no longer any way to prove your innocence. Seojoon looked confused. What do you mean? Why? There are several reasons, but first, as she spoke, her appearance changed. I am dead. Stared at her. What do you mean? My soul is the core, and my body is made of mana. People cannot see me unless they are a person from Earth like you. I also don't have enough mana to use my skills. She paused before continuing. But this is the most important thing. Do you remember the real culprit's face? Seojoon thought about it. Come to think of it, he couldn't remember the culprit's face at all. Even though the other three warriors had witnessed the incident, it was as if that part of their memories had been cut away. Natanya continued. Not only did they infiltrate and break through the security of the nation's most important building, but they also assassinated the second princess and her court magician. Then they easily escaped and placed all the blame on you. She looked directly at him. That's why I believe there is no point in revealing to the public that I am still alive in soul form when we have no information regarding the real culprit. Seojoon clenched his fists. Then what am I supposed to do? I can't do this and I can't do that. Yet you're the one who asked if I wanted to escape. Eventually, the one who will be executed is me. I was arbitrarily summoned to this world, framed for a crime, and tortured. So stop talking in circles and tell me directly. Is there or isn't there a way for me to get out of here? Netanya answered, not exactly a no, there is a way for you to get out. What are you talking about? Seojoon frowned. Escape. The 7,000-meter high sky prison. The prison that no skilled person has ever escaped from. Later, Seojoon was once again tied to a chair. The masked jailer stood before him. What do you say? After removing the mouth restraint, Seojoon spoke. I killed her. I killed the second princess and her court magician. Inside, Seojoon felt disgusted. After being tortured through hallucinations for 2 days straight, he was forced to confess to a crime he had never committed. The jailer nodded. You finally admitted it. The warden smiled. I can finally return to my original work. The jailer then brought someone into the room. This person will explain what awaits you from now on. A woman entered. The woman smiled. Hello, so you're the person rumored to have killed the second princess. It's funny, you look much sillier than the rumors suggest. She looked at his restraints. You must be uncomfortable. Let me open these. She released his bindings and extended her hand. Nice to meet you. Seojoon shook her hand. The jailer sighed. Amber, stop chatting and take him away. Show him that on the way. Amber, who was a snake woman, grabbed Seojoon and began leading him away. As they walked, Seojoon asked, Excuse me, what's happening? Amber looked at him. Didn't they tell you? We're done with you, she continued. The most important thing in this prison is getting criminals to confess to their crimes. The people who come here are considered human trash from the start. Usually, nobody survives the torture process like you did. Seojoon frowned. So if I had just admitted everything from the beginning? Amber interrupted him. They would have stopped immediately. Most inmates do exactly that. She smiled. But of course, the moment you confess, you lose the right to refuse anything. Seojoon looked confused. What do you mean by that? Anyway, you'll find out soon enough. It would be troublesome if trash that was thrown into a trash can suddenly crawled back out. But enough of that dark conversation. Let's talk about something else. Amber pointed to herself. I'm Amber from the patrol team. The patrol team consists of elite prison guards with the highest combat abilities. We're comparable to most warriors. She looked at Seojoon. I'm in charge of the section where you'll be imprisoned, which means if you cause trouble, I'll be the one who kills you. Soon, they arrived at a large door. Amber opened it. This is what I wanted to show you. Seojoon's eyes widened. Inside were countless pods filled with yellow liquid. Prisoners floated inside them. Amber spoke calmly. This is what execution means in this prison. Seojoon stared at the pods. Are those people being used as batteries? Amber nodded. You could call it extraction. We drain their mana and extract their skills from their shells, which are their physical bodies, she continued. People are one of the most important resources here. Many prisoners possess unique skills. Sometimes those skills alone are enough to become a reason for imprisonment. I heard from the captain that your skill is also quite special and unique. You could say, I'm only telling you all this because I'm kind. Later, back in his cell, Netanya appeared again. So, what are you planning to do now? Seojoon sighed. What other choice do I have? Netanya nodded. The death penalty is still certain, and since you're from Earth, finding a lawyer to defend you is impossible. Seojoon lowered his head. But escaping is impossible too. How can an ordinary person like me escape from a prison like this? Netanya looked at him. Then let me tell you something that might motivate you. Seojoon listened carefully. Of course, it goes without saying that when you arrived in this world, time on Earth did not stop. Seojoon froze. Netanya continued. It has already been 1 month since you came here. The exact same amount of time has passed on Earth. His eyes widened. 1 month. Yes, your family and friends are probably looking for you right now. Seojoon immediately stood up. Then he grabbed Netanya by the neck. You the one who summoned me here. Netanya remained calm. That is why I'm asking. Are you really going to sit here and do nothing, warrior? She looked directly into his eyes. The answers are already in front of you. Give up and rot in prison or escape and return to Earth. If you choose to escape, I will help you. Seojoon slowly lowered his hand. Fine, I get it. He looked at her seriously. I don't trust you even a little, but I'm going to escape from this world. Netanya smiled. Wise choice, warrior. Meanwhile, inside a training room, a man with glasses said, That's it for today. Maybe I can give you 75 points today. Amber replied, Wait. Were you actually thinking about killing me? That's right. That's why I gave you 75 points. I see. Thank you for your guidance today as well. The man adjusted glasses. I've said this many times already, but I really like your skill. It allows you to foresee everything. However, your body still can't keep up with your eyes. Your weakness is that you're only able to focus on a single target during combat. Amber nodded. Right. I just realized that it's important for you to know the pros and cons of your skill. Otherwise, who knows, even a bear would return as a sword in a real battle. Then she smiled and asked, Captain, do you perhaps like bears? Should I buy you some teddy bear plushies during my vacation later? Not even a bit. Amber laughed. Come to think of it, Captain, why isn't the warden here? The captain replied, No idea. I heard the higher-ups called her. I also have to join them today. So both the warden and the captain won't be here. Yep. Then the captain's expression became serious. Don't you think it's a bit suspicious? We were called away as soon as the warrior surrendered. On top of that, information about the prison's internal affairs has been leaking out. I believe there's a traitor inside the prison. Meanwhile, Kim Seojoon thought to himself, the escape plan will be carried out today. Is this really happening? He looked around. The number of guards on standby alone is probably around 20, and all of them are armed. Guns existed in this world as well. Natania appeared beside him and said, That is a standard rifle powered by a miniature magic engine. It can fire up to 50 meters and 19 times in a row. Seojoon was surprised to see her suddenly appear. Natania placed a finger on his lips. No one can see me except you. Therefore, you need to be careful and simply listen. She continued, In about 30 minutes, once the inspection is complete, there will be an ambush. While they're bringing you back to your cell, you should be prepared by then. Seojoon thought, a prison break. There is no guarantee this will work. However, this is the only way for me to free myself from the death penalty. Therefore, this is my choice. Soon, he entered another room. A security guard checked him. Let's see, your size is average. The guard ordered him to bow his head and attached another collar around his neck to remove the one that suppressed the skills. The guard said, We'll be removing this control device for about 3 minutes to measure the strength and purpose of your skill. If you get any closer to the guards during that time, you will be killed immediately. Now get inside. Seojoon entered the room. Inside were guards, scientists, prisoners, and a large machine positioned in the center. One of the guards pointed toward it. Move to the center. Seojoon obeyed. Natania spoke from nearby. It looks like they're examining your skill so they can assign you to special management. Warrior, you've never properly used your skill before, right? Seojoon nodded. You don't need to shout the skill's name to activate it. Imagine that you have one extra finger and flick it. That's how you use it. She pointed toward the machine. I'll wait over here. There is a sensor inside that can detect me, Seojoon thought. My skill is storage. Come to think of it, I never learned how to use it. Once he stood inside the machine, an announcer's voice echoed throughout the room. Stand in the center. Your skill is storage. Try using your skill on the mannequin in front of you. Seojoon looked at the mannequin. I don't even know how my skill works. He raised his hand. Storage. Nothing happened. The announcer immediately spoke again. What are you doing? Quickly use your skill. Please understand that this is my first time. Seojoon thought carefully. Apparently, shouting the skill's name isn't necessary. Also, it doesn't seem to work from long range. Remembering Natania's instructions, he approached the mannequin. He imagined having an extra finger and flicked it. The moment he touched the mannequin, it disappeared. It had been stored. Seojoon was stunned. At the corner of his vision, a list of stored items appeared. There doesn't seem to be a limit. Does this mean I have infinite storage? The announcer sounded disappointed. I was expecting something grand since I've never heard of that skill before. Turns out it's just a boring space-type skill. Seojoon wasn't convinced. This feels exactly like an inventory from a game. Usually, Manhwa protagonists receive amazing skills. Yet something is bothering me. He remembered the moment his skill had been examined. Natania had smiled. Seojoon glanced at her outside the machine. I'm not disappointed. Maybe it's because this skill has never been seen before. Or maybe there's something about storage that I still don't understand. The announcer spoke again. A317099. Return the mannequin to its original state. Then the examination will be complete. Seojoon froze. He had no idea how to take items back out. Outside the machine, a guard frowned. What's wrong with him? It's not like this is his first time using his skill. Beside the guard stood a Catwoman prisoner. No! I think it actually is his first time. The guard looked at her. Before he could react, the Catwoman attacked his leg. The guard fell to the floor before he could use the gun in his hand. He shouted, Wait! It was already too late. The Catwoman smiled. Let's do it! Let's go! Then she killed him. Another guard noticed and immediately shouted, Kill her! Quickly! 2 guards raised their rifles and prepared to fire. Inside the machine, Seojoon looked toward Natania. What happened? I thought you said the plan would begin after the inspection was over. Netanya looked just as surprised. This wasn't part of my plan. Outside, the Catwoman quickly dodged the incoming bullets. As she avoided the attacks, the pipes around the room were struck by gunfire and exploded. The Catwoman smiled. 10 minutes earlier, 2 guards were standing watch. One of them was eating a chocolate bar. The other guard looked at him and said, "You're eating again." The first one replied, "I was hungry." The second guard then suddenly started coughing. "I got sick while fooling around earlier." The first guard looked at him. "What? Did you catch a cold too?" "It seems like it's the cold season now, isn't it?" Suddenly, the coughing guard began bleeding from his mouth. Before the other guard could call for help, blood started pouring from his mouth as well. Both guards collapsed onto the floor. A mysterious man then crawled out of one guard's mouth. "I feel very nauseous after being inside that guy's stomach." Meanwhile, before the prison break began, Kim Seojoon had been taken to the skill inspection room. Among the prisoners was a Catwoman. Her name was Isekai'd. As she looked toward one of the guards, she noticed a familiar shadow beneath him. Inside that shadow was the mysterious man from before. She secretly signaled him. It was time to begin. Isekai'd suddenly raised her hand. "Excuse me, guards. I really need to use the toilet. Please let me go." The guard looked. "You look suspicious. We'll inspect you first." Isekai'd blinked. "We've been exposed. Attack now." The moment she gave the signal, black shadows burst from beneath her. The shadows instantly killed 2 guards behind her and another guard standing in front. The shadows then broke her restraints. Another guard immediately rushed toward her. Isekai'd narrowed her eyes. "He's fast. Even after seeing his comrades die right in front of him, he's already attacking." The guard activated his skill. Isekai'd smiled. "Now this is how you make risking your life worth it." Then she spotted a device nearby. It was designed to remove the collar that suppressed mana. At that moment, countless magic bullets were fired at her. Isekai'd easily avoided them. In front of her stood many armed guards. Despite the barrage of attacks, she remained unharmed. Now that her mana-suppressing collar had been removed, she could finally use her skill. The magical bullets suddenly stopped in midair. Then they began swirling around her. Isekai'd smiled. That was really breathtaking. Just a 1-second difference. One of the guards stared in horror. "What is that?" The space around Isekai'd was visibly twisting. The guard immediately shouted, "Everyone retreat. She's going to send the bullets back." But it was already too late. Isekai'd released every bullet back toward them. The bullets flew across the room. Moments later, every guard was dead. The mysterious men emerged from a shadow. "Shall we look for the Seojoon now?" Back in the present, Seojoon stared at the scene in shock. The entire skill inspection room had turned into a battlefield. Isekai'd had killed every guard in sight. The Catwoman stretched her arms. "I'm so tired. How many were there again?" Then she looked toward the mysterious man. "Why aren't you helping?" The mysterious man shrugged. "Someone needs to keep watch." Seojoon watched the two of them. "Who are these people? I know they aren't part of Netanya's plan. But one thing is clear, there aren't just one, but 2 different groups trying to get me out of this false accusation and imprisonment." Even Netanya looked concerned. This situation doesn't seem very good. Isekai'd then approached Seojoon. "Don't be scared, come over here. We're here to get you out. I promise I'm not going to bite you." Netanya whispered, "Let's just follow them for now." Isekai'd smiled. "You don't have to be so guarded around me." The mysterious man interrupted her. "Isekai'd, we don't have time to flirt. We need to leave within 3 minutes." "I know. What do you take me for?" She then looked back at Seojoon. "Anyway, I hope you can follow me quietly. My name is Isekai'd. Please take care of me as well." As Seojoon followed them, he looked at the dead guards scattered everywhere. Isekai'd noticed his expression. "What? You're struggling from the sight of a few corpses." Seojoon was speechless. Each one looked like it had come straight out of a horror movie. "Should I just go back to my cell instead?" Isekai'd suddenly raised her hand toward him. "You know, my mom used to do this when I was young." She offered him her hand. "Close your eyes, hold my hand, and follow me. It'll be less scary that way." Seojoon immediately thought, "No, honestly, I'm far more scared of you." The mysterious man sighed. "Every second is precious, and she's still playing around." Suddenly, he sensed something. His expression changed. "Don't come any closer." A voice answered him. "I didn't even touch your shadow, so how did you know I was here?" "It was Amber." The mysterious man smiled. "You see, all shadows share the same vision. Aren't you underestimating other people's skills a little too much?" Amber shrugged. "Well, that's only because it's the first time I've encountered something like this." Before she could finish speaking, the mysterious man attacked. Amber instantly analyzed the situation. "I see it. The flow of his mana is perfectly clear. That punch is a fake. The shadow behind me is the real attack." She dodged immediately. The mysterious man launched another strike. Amber continued observing. The body is only a vessel. That one is fake too. Then she looked directly at the shadow beneath him. Your real body is the shadow on the ground. The mysterious man's expression changed. He immediately shouted, Isekai'd, the opponent has a demon eye skill. A skill that allows her to see mana flow and predict what will happen. But it was already too late. Amber moved instantly. With a single strike, she destroyed the mysterious man's body and split it apart. Then she turned toward Isekai'd. I guess there's only one intruder left to deal with. Amber frowned as she faced the intruders. Honestly, I don't understand. According to the information we received, this should have been the work of a traitor within the prison. So who are these intruders? Or is it something else entirely? There isn't just one side trying to break him out. What's going on here? Nearby, Netanya observed the situation. If they aren't Earthlings, they shouldn't be able to see me. Is she detecting me through the distortion of mana? What an annoying mana skill user. Amber tightened her grip on her weapon. For now, let's put Seojoon on the back burner. The next moment, she dashed toward Isekai'd and attacked with her blade. Isekai'd immediately reacted. She's attacking from an angle that's difficult to deal with. Is it because her lower body is a snake? She narrowly dodged the strike. Dark red electricity suddenly began gathering around Amber's blade. Amber swung again. Isekai'd continued dodging every attack. Amber analyzed her opponent. The attacks are barely grazing her. Is it some kind of defensive skill? No. Is it related to spatial manipulation? At the same time, Isekai'd was analyzing Amber as well. She's moving incredibly fast. I can see the mana she's using through my skill. Meanwhile, Seojoon activated his storage skill. I'm glad I stored those fragments earlier. The floating debris around the battlefield disappeared into his storage. Aside from that, they're incredible. Netanya watched the battle carefully. Power versus technique. This is perfect. It will serve as a reference for the hero to become accustomed to skills and mana. Even a hero has to learn this much. Let's call it pre-exploration. Both women activated their abilities to the fullest. Isekai'd thought, we need to finish this within 2 minutes before the prison reinforcements arrive. The battle intensified. Their attacks shattered walls, floors, and everything around them. Isekai'd manipulated fragments of broken glass and launched them toward Amber. Amber swung her blade and deflected every single piece. Then she sensed another fragment approaching from behind. Without even turning around, she blocked it. Everything is visible now. She definitely has a space distortion skill. Isekai'd smiled. Releasing mana over a wide area is difficult because of efficiency and mana consumption. Amber responded by extending her blade. Dark red electricity stretched across its entire length. She swung. A massive slash tore through the room, leaving behind a crack filled with red mana. Seojoon stared in shock. Now I understand what Netanya meant. While Amber fights by unleashing powerful techniques and massive amounts of mana, Isekai'd uses the minimum amount of mana necessary. Seojoon turned toward Netanya. Is it because of an innate difference in mana? Netanya replied, there is also a difference in skill types. Spatial skills usually consume enormous amounts of mana. On the other hand, Amber's mana skill consumes almost none. Seojoon quickly understood. Unlike Amber, who can pour all her strength into a single battle, Isekai'd and I need to conserve mana if we're going to escape this prison. That's an overwhelming disadvantage. Then he made a decision. I'm joining the fight. Tell me about mana skills. Netanya looked surprised. Can't you make a rational decision for once? You still can't even release mana. I have the storage skill, don't I? And I know it isn't just an ordinary inventory. Netanya looked at him seriously. The end of this battle isn't surrender or capture. Are you prepared to get blood on your hands? Seojoon's expression hardened. Whether I like it or not, I'm already the center of attention. There's nothing else I can do. I have to prepare myself. Netanya nodded. Detection-type skills, especially mana skills, allow users to see the mana that exists throughout the world. Even ordinary objects contain tiny amounts of mana. To a mana skill user, everything is visible. Meanwhile, Amber continued analyzing Isekai'd's fighting style. I understand now. She's the type that compensates for low firepower with attack frequency. Her spatial skill doesn't distort the objects themselves. Just as Isekai'd attempted another attack from Amber's blind spot, Amber intercepted it and counterattacked. Her blade struck Isekai'd's shoulder. Amber asked, finally, is that your limit? Then she raised her blade. It's time to die. Using her ability, Isekai'd struck the ground. The floor shattered. Countless pieces of debris flew toward Amber. Amber dodged them effortlessly. What are you trying to do? Don't you realize projectiles are pointless? She avoided every fragment. That trajectory is completely readable with my mana skill. She gathered mana into her weapon. It's over. But, Ipeko replied, you minimize the amount of information you process for combat. So, can you still see the mana inside ordinary objects? Suddenly, the ceiling began collapsing. Amber's eyes widened. The damaged section of the ceiling, weakened during their battle, finally gave way. Massive chunks of rubble crashed down onto her. Amber became trapped beneath the debris. Ipeko explained calmly. I wasn't aiming at you, she pointed upward. I aimed at a weak point in the ceiling, the place where your own attacks had already damaged it. Amber coughed beneath the rubble. Meanwhile, Natania glanced at Seojoon. Do you think understanding something like that will actually help you? I'm not sure, but I'll try. Seojoon continued analyzing the fight. Once Amber was defeated, she would be forced to remove the restrictions on her Demon Eye skill. She couldn't afford to fall for the same trick twice. But excessive information can become a disadvantage. Skill overload. Maintaining the minimum restrictions is necessary. There must be a way to attack from outside her restricted vision. What's the weakness of a skill that sees everything? Amber was wounded. Blood dripped from her mouth. I'll admit it, you're better than me in terms of experience and combat sense. Then she smiled. But I still have one final move. Amber activated her skill. Skill overload. The rubble around her exploded apart. She instantly rushed toward Ipeko. Skill overload means increasing the burden on the skill to raise its output. The overload of the Demon Eye skill removes nearly all restrictions. My brain can barely endure it, but it amplifies my vision several times over. For 15 seconds, I can even see slightly into the future. Before Ipeko could react, Amber punched her in the stomach. Ipeko tried to block it, but she was struck again and thrown across the room. Amber immediately chased after her. 10 seconds. After skill overload ends, I'll temporarily lose my vision. Ipeko considered her options. Should I overload my skill too? No, there is no future where I win that way. She launched another attack. Amber stopped it instantly. The recoil damaged Ipeko herself and sent her flying backward. Ipeko landed on her feet. I need to rethink this. Before she could finish the thought, Amber was already in front of her. I can see the shape and distortion of your spatial manipulation now. Following the angle you're flying through is easy. Amber gathered mana in her hand. At that exact moment, Seojoon finally acted. Before Amber could react, he activated storage. The mannequin he had stored earlier suddenly reappeared. It materialized directly inside Amber's body. Amber froze. Seojoon looked at her. When retrieving items stored inside my storage skill, anything occupying the same location disappears. I learned something useful. Natania think. I wonder when he figured it out. That's why he's been moving around quietly this entire time. The weakness of mana skills is target selection. Amber had focused entirely on Ipeko. She had completely excluded Seojoon from her attention. As a result, he became invisible to her. His adaptability is faster than I expected. Amber slowly looked at Seojoon. So this is the weakness of mana skills. In the end, I couldn't overcome it. I was inexperienced. Her body collapsed to the ground. Seojoon stared at her. I killed her. It was my choice. The moment I chose to escape, my path became stained with blood. I will do anything to return to Earth, even kill if I have to escape this world.